Hello, I'm Angela Kane, Transformational Coach, and you're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, and the Relationship Ready Mind talk show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Relationship Ready Mind talk show. You're listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. My name's Angela Kane, and I'm a transformational and relationship mentor and coach. And I help people create a wonderful, happy, an empowered relationship with the most important person in their life, themselves. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show today and the information that I've got for you, which is all about the mind. So let's just look at this marvelous contraption, the mind. Thinking is the highest function human beings are capable of. Probably most of the world's population think that they know how to think. But do they? What they probably know how to do is engage in mental activity, which is very different than thinking. Learning how to think doesn't happen by accident. If we do not actively seek out and learn how to think for ourselves, our thoughts control us. And life becomes reactive instead of proactive. Our life will just drift along with no actual intentional direction, and it may well go in directions that you don't want it to go in or that you're unhappy with. If we understand what thought really is and its power, we can completely change the course of our lives. You've probably heard me say before that thought waves are cosmic waves that enter into time and space. We are actually tapping into universal energy when we learn how to think correctly. We're creative beings. We are born to create. When we think a thought and embody that thought, we set off a string of activity in the universe, which is either good or bad. And thought mixed with emotion, which is energy in motion, equals magic. Miracles begin to happen, or so we think, but it's actually just universal law in action. Thought mixed with emotion creates a magnetic force which attracts from the vibrations of the ether other similar or related thoughts. And once you gain an understanding of what thought really is, you can use it to your advantage. And that's what I hope you will get from the show today. We think a thought, that thought is on a frequency, and the good that we desire is also on a similar frequency. The good you seek is actually seeking you. We must learn to raise our thoughts to the same frequency of the things we wish to bring into our lives. How many times have you thought you must call someone and then they ring or text you shortly afterwards? This happens to me all the time with one of my very closest friends and also with my brother. The power of thought is infinite, which means having no boundaries or limits. It has no end. Real thought is very different from the mental activity we engage in every day. So take your thoughts seriously. Learn to control your thinking, which is what you're going to learn today. You cannot stop thinking, but you can change your thoughts. Thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings dictate the frequency of the vibration you're in at any given time. James Allen said, "As a person thinketh in his heart, so is he." The ancient Greeks called the subconscious mind the heart, and that is what James Allen meant when he said that. Plant an idea in your subconscious mind. That then connects to the universal mind. This is a very orderly universe that we're all part of. And as I said, thoughts are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space. These thought waves dictate our vibration, and that vibration dictates what comes into your life. You can only ever attract what you're in harmony with. You will never tune into Radio 4 if you're tuned into Key 103. And those are 2 radio stations in the UK for those of you that don't live in the UK and that are not familiar with them. So actively seek out and learn the power of thought and how to direct your mind. And I promise you that once you do, your life will never be the same again. So you're about to embark on an exciting journey into the mind. So buckle up. It's going to be a heck of a ride. So today we are going to discuss the mind and how we can start to control it. It also might be a good idea to have a pen and paper handy, because I'm going to be giving you a few questions that you can write down and that you can reflect on after the show. So today you're going to learn several key points about your mind. You're going to learn how it works, the need to manage your thoughts, and the impact your thoughts have on your life. During this session today, we will explore the power and potential of the human mind. We'll review 3 important truths about the mind and how those truths impact our lives. And we'll understand the need to be aware of your thoughts and how your thoughts really do create your reality. We'll discover also what it takes to eliminate the thoughts that are destructive to your well-being. So it's time to begin an exciting and enlightening journey into our amazing mind. And today what we're going to do is what I thought it would be simpler for you if we use an analogy of a garden. So if you get the image of a garden in your mind, it will help you explore some of the most important aspects. So first of all, we're going to start by imagining that you've been given a farm with hundreds of acres of land on which to plant, grow, and harvest whatever fruits and vegetables you would like, with the stipulation that you can only choose 3 items: a primary crop and 2 secondary crops. So go ahead and get your paper and get ready to write down some answers to some questions. So first of all, write down what crops you would choose to grow and why you would choose those. Okay, now imagine that you have the know-how to grow your chosen crops. You possess all the equipment you need, and you have checked the farmer's almanac, which is predict the ideal weather conditions during the upcoming growing season. As a farmer, what mindset of character, temperament, and outlook would you think you would need to possess to ensure growing a successful crop? So go ahead and write that down on your piece of paper. And what is your initial reaction to this key message that I'm going to deliver to you, which is, it is through our thoughts that we create the world we live in. How do you feel about that? Do you agree with that, or do you disagree? And why? If you disagree, why is that? And what role do your beliefs play in shaping the reality of your world? So go ahead and write that down also. You can alter your world by altering your thoughts. From this perspective, your mind becomes your most crucial resource, an incredibly rich, fertile piece of land where you can plant and grow whatever you like. If you can become aware of and master the mind's power, you can consciously create greater happiness, a sense of abundance, and the feeling of freedom in your life. So by understanding that it is your thinking that causes your experiences, you then realize how much control you have over the circumstances of your life. moment by moment, thought by thought, you are a farmer planting seeds for a harvest yet to come. And so we are going to take a quick break now. And when we come back, we're going to delve deeper into this conversation about the mind and the power it has to create our life.
Hey everybody, this is your girl, Dr. MV, host of Singles Get Real. Catch the show every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you missed the show, simply check out my podcast. Thanks for listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network.
This is Cece Schatz, and I'm an inspirational speaker, divorce, life, and transitional coach with a unique style of healing from within. With that, been here, done that approach to life. I hope you'll join me each and every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Going Solo with Cece, where we bring you educational, informative discussions through the devastation feelings of divorce to finding yourself and redefining your best life. We will take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of divorce, parenting, being single, relationships, dating, and yes, sex. So be sure to tune in every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Going Solo with Cece.
Hello and welcome back to the Relationship Ready Mind Talk Show. You're listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network, and I'm Angela Kane. And before the break, we were discussing the mind. And today we were using the analogy of a garden and how we plant seeds and crops so that we can compare that to our thought process. So perhaps, hopefully, it would make it a little easier for you to understand. And now we're going to continue talking about the mind, and we're going to look at 3 truths about the mind. The first one is the mind is constantly active. We can guide the mind, but we can't stop it. It's like the ocean, always moving, always working. The mind continually generates a never-ending flow of thoughts that produce endless effects. When we don't actively manage our minds, we don't manage our harvest, therefore leaving the outcome to chance. On the other hand, if we assess our thoughts when we think them, we can change the direction of our minds and move from thinking something detrimental to thinking something positive. Since the mind is constantly active, we shouldn't let it choose negative, unproductive thoughts, but instead make sure it's fixed on positive, constructive thoughts that will bring about the success and happiness we want to experience in our lives. The next truth about the mind is that it's boundless. Not only is the mind in a constant state of activity, it's virtually boundless in its capabilities. You can think without limit. You can dream and invent at will. You can even take existing facts and knowledge and perceive them in a new and interesting way. The mind is also an intractable force. You can choose each and every thought you have. No one can make you think thought that you don't want to think without your consent. No external idea can be imposed on you if you don't want it. And the third truth is the mind is always in the driver's seat. Your body does nothing independent of your mind. Every act, no matter how big or small, starts in the mind. In other words, your mind wills and your body responds. The body is truly a servant of the mind. It brings ideas into being. Your behaviours are your mind driving your body to fulfill a thought. You cannot stop your mind, but you can control and direct its most prevalent thoughts. So I'm going to ask you, which of these 3 truths of the mind is most interesting to you? So go ahead and write that down. And why is it easier for people to have negative instead of positive thoughts? Why do you think that is? And what gets in the way of people truly believing that their thinking is without limits? So the next thing we're going to look at now is mental cultivation, the seeds of the thoughts you sow. Planting thought seeds. Thoughts are real, like seeds. They're concentrated bundles of energy that have immense potential and power. We have all known for decades that the brain is a transmitter of energy, measured in waves, that brain waves can be gauged and quantified. Science validates that thoughts are energy, and if they're energy, then they're also matter. Things created from matter go through two stages of creation. First, an idea forms in the mind. We'll call these ideas thought seeds. And just like when you garden, these ideas are placed like seeds in the soil of your mind. Secondly, these thought seeds are nurtured through visualization, affirmations, meditation, and reviewing your goals and taking action. And your belief. Just like your garden, you water, fertilize, and care for it. And one day, the thought seeds sown that fall into the rich soil of the mind take root and eventually produce a blossom. This means that the outer world of your life is a direct result of the inner world of your thoughts. The two are connected. By understanding the connection between your internal thoughts and your external world, you know that you can simply plant a new thought seed and create something new in your external world. In order to plant new thought seeds, you must first become aware of your thoughts and understand how those thoughts are shaping, consciously or unconsciously, your outlook, your character, and your circumstances. Observing your thoughts is like being in a movie theatre. When you're in the front row, it's all-consuming. But when you create some distance by moving back from the screen, you get a different perspective. Similarly, by paying attention to your thoughts, you can place some distance between yourself and those thoughts. Mindfulness. Doing this allows you to become more aware of what you're thinking and change it if it's not working for you. So let me ask you, what thoughts are you currently sowing in your life? And what emotions are associated with these thoughts? And why do you think is it important to pay attention to the emotions that your thoughts produce? Why do you think that would be? To be a successful farmer and cultivate supportive thoughts, it's necessary to weed out the thoughts that are sabotaging your success. And now we're going to learn a few tips on how to manage those destructive thought patterns that keep bothering you. So in order to keep our garden at its best, we must nurture the fruit-bearing plants and keep out the weeds. The same is true with the garden of your mind. You must be aware of your most prevalent thoughts so that you can keep the fruitful ones and discard the others. If you're satisfied with the fruit you are reaping in your life, fantastic job. You're probably doing a good job of managing your thoughts. On the other hand, if you don't like the fruit you're bearing, you can change it by altering the thoughts that are not serving you. Since your mind is like a garden, you really can grow any crop you like. It's really a simple equation. You think a thought, That thought drives your body, which in turn defines your behaviour, which ultimately creates your world. Therefore, as the gardeners of our mind, it's imperative that we manage the thoughts that are productive and eliminate the ones that are not. So what keeps us from doing a better job of managing our thoughts? And go ahead and name 2 things that currently exist in your life that are a product of the positive thoughts you have had in your life. And what thoughts do you frequently have that would be considered the weeds in your mind's garden? And what can you do that could help you do a better job of eliminating the non-productive thoughts you're inclined to have? Being aware of your thoughts plays a big part in effective mind management. There are also a variety of mind management techniques to help you control your thoughts. So let's look at 2 simple yet powerful mind management tools. The first is called thought refusal, and the second one is called thought stopping. Warriors are highly skilled at warding off the enemy and protecting themselves. And we too must build up our armour against unwanted, non-productive thoughts that pop into our minds and eliminate them as soon as they appear. Prentice Mulford is considered by many to have been a key thought pioneer. He lived in the 1800s. I think it was 1834 to 1891. And he wrote numerous essays on the mind, our thoughts, and spirituality. He says that we must deny access to those thoughts we don't want. We can train our minds to shut out these thoughts immediately, and we can gradually train the mind to bar the door tightly. Mulford came up with a simple yet effective way to manage the thoughts he didn't want. Whenever he had a thought he didn't want, a thought that was unproductive, ineffective, or limiting, he would say, I refuse this thought and the mental condition it has brought on me, which affects my body. Mulford believed that the way to eliminate unhealthy, unproductive thoughts was to put up a barrier to keep them out. This thought refusal tool addresses the link between your thoughts and their emotional and physical impact. Your thoughts are quick and fleeting, therefore you need to train your mind to recognize negative thought patterns. And you need to do this immediately so you can control your thoughts instead of your thoughts controlling you. So we're going to look at Prentice Mulford's thought refusal tool on a thought that you no longer want to have. So take a moment to identify a prevalent thought that you frequently have. This is a thought that is non-productive to what you want in your life. And practice the thought refusal technique by saying it out loud while thinking of the undesirable thought. I refuse this thought and the mental condition it has brought on me, which affects my body. Repeat the thought refusal statement several times until the power of the unproductive thought has subsided. So go ahead and give that one a whirl. Some other things for you to think about are what makes it difficult to refuse a thought you're having at any given moment, and what's at risk in your life when you allow your thoughts to control you rather than you controlling your thoughts. And in what ways would you know that a thought you're having is affecting you physically? We believe our thoughts can be kept secret, but they can't. Your words and behaviour reflect what's going on in your mind. If I asked you, what's your perspective on money? It wouldn't take me long to detect your most prevalent thought about how you view money. Mulford said the vision you glorify in your mind the ideal you enthrone in your heart. This you will build your life by. This you will become. So if a person wants to alter his life, he must first alter his thoughts. The second mind management tool we'll look at is similar to the thought refusal tool. It's called thought stopping. And you can use the thought stopping technique to help control negative thoughts that you may be harboring about yourself. So what types of negative thoughts do you have about yourself? Failures in relationships, perhaps, jobs or other circumstances, unpleasant comments others have made about you, unresolved conflicts, constant reminders about your life and how it isn't measuring up to the way you wanted it to. Whatever thoughts you quietly harbour, they are often a negative story, focusing on failure and weaknesses. When the thought has already overtaken you, Mulford recommends that you stop and take control through the tool of thought stopping. When you become aware of a negative thought about yourself, such as, I'm so fat, I'm hopeless, I can't do anything, the thought stopping technique is something physical to offset the negative thought. So when the negative thought appears, do something physical, such as snap your fingers, clap your hands, tap your wrist, make a gesture in some way, and then take a deep breath and let it out slowly. And this will release the anxiety and the stress. Challenge the negative thought and change it to something positive. Say, I'm in the process of reaching my ideal weight, or my weight doesn't define or hide the incredible person that I know I am. As you continue to practice this technique, you will start to notice negative thoughts much quicker as they enter your consciousness. And you'll ultimately reach a point where negative thoughts melt away and have no impact on you whatsoever. How fabulous would that be? The moment you start thinking differently is the moment your world will change. And now it's time to practice the thought stopping technique on a negative thought. So take a moment to identify a personal negative thought you have about yourself. And once you've identified this thought, take a minute to practice the thought stopping technique. Remember, the steps are: offset the thought by doing something physical, like snap your fingers, clap your hands, tap your wrist, something like that. Take a deep breath and exhale slowly. And then change the negative thought to something positive. So you can do that at the end of the show today. And then please do write to me and let me know if these tools have helped you. I really would like to know. And then ask yourself the following questions. What did you experience using this mind management tool? What negative thoughts about yourself have you frequently had that the thought stopping technique can help you manage? And what parts of your life would you most like to alter? What thoughts around these parts of your life would need to change for you to see desired results? So one of the basic things in life, the law of the harvest states, as you sow, so shall ye reap. And nowhere does this principle hold more truth than in the garden of the human mind. By planting positive thought seeds and weeding out your negative thoughts, you have a fertile ground on which to direct your life and your success. So ask yourself, how have my runaway thoughts impacted me in my life? What have I learned about noticing my negative thoughts and redirecting them towards something more positive? Think about those things today, and do replay this podcast and have a go at the exercises. I'm sure that you will find them really, really valuable. I know that I have when I've used them, and so have many of my clients. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with me if you need more information on managing your mind, or if you'd like me to send you the techniques and those list of questions. I'd be happy to do that for you, and I'd write back to you as soon as possible. You can contact me via my website, which is angelakane.com, or you can email me at angela@angelakane.com, or you can contact me via the Ask Angela tab on the radio show page. So we've reached the end of today's session. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks so much for listening again. I know that your time is valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some of it with me. So don't forget to tune in again next week when we'll be discussing other ways in which you can learn to have the greatest relationship with yourself and consequently live a happy and fulfilled life, whatever your current circumstances are at the moment. You're listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network, and the Relationship Ready Mind Talk Show with me, Angela Kane. So until next time, many blessings to you all, and bye for now.